Welcome back. Now it's February now, so what we need to is about 2/3 of the way through February. It's nearly at the end of February, and as we had that very cold snap right at the beginning, it's always best just to delay your seeds just a little bit in February until it warms up a bit. It's a glorious day out there today. I was down the allotment this morning and it's absolutely fabulous. So I've got in my book of my list of seeds, my fruit and my vegetables and my flowers to plant. I'll just read out the list that I'm going to plant now. Now I've shown you most of these. It's generally the flowers that I will show you how to do today. Now in February you need to plant your aubergines and your peppers and your chilies as well, so you can start those off. Radishes can go straight out, I'll do those next week, and parsnips can go straight out into the ground, so I'll do those next week as well. Cucumbers and some of your tomatoes, okay? Not all of them, most of them are next month in March, but get some of them ready. Have a look on the backs of your packets and see when it says if you're growing them in the greenhouse or if you will be growing them outside. It does make a difference, so just check. Now the flowers, the ones that I'm growing, all my sweet peas have gone in, so I've crossed those off the list. There's nasturtiums. Now nasturtiums they're lovely. They climb, they're all sorts of, they're wonderful. And they attract the bees. That's the whole point of me doing a load of flowers. We've got a shortage of bumblebees. We need to attract them back in. So that is what I'm going to do. Delphiniums, Rudbeckia and teasel, because teasel invites the birds to come in when the big seed heads are ready. So I will show you the flowers. Right, now here's the nasturtiums. I got these from Johnson's and there's 3 different varieties in here. I'm going to plant them all in exactly the same way. They're all beautiful colours, so hopefully they'll grow in between the beans and peas and anywhere in the allotment, and they'll keep the bees coming and pollinating the flowers. Now these seeds, you can plant these directly outside if you want, but you have to wait till April for that. But I'm going to start them off early. Now, there's only a few in each one, well, a couple of dozen or so. They're very strange seeds, they're very knobbly, okay? So I'll just show you one on how to plant, because they're all exactly the same. And as before, I've got a toilet roll, I've cut it in half, and I've filled it with compost, like that. Now this will be great, because then we can put it straight in the soil, and we won't disturb any of the roots. If the cardboard tube isn't biodegraded enough, we can always just run a pair of scissors up there and then put it straight in the ground. But if we just put 2 in each pot, and we just put them on top like this, and then just push them down to your first knuckle. There we are. And then just cover them over. If you need a little bit more compost, then put a little bit more compost on top. And there we are, that's those done. So I'll just do that once more. So 2 per half toilet roll, pop them in, 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom, push down to your first knuckle, and then just cover over. We'll give them a water and then we'll leave them to come up. Well, next I'm going to show you how to plant your Rudbeckia and your delphiniums. Now this again is a nice big pack, and it's come from Johnson's, and there's all sorts of different ones here. We've planted one already, we've planted the aquiledias already, and they're just poking their heads through, but now we're going to plant the delphiniums and, the delphiniums and the Rudbeckia. Right, now these 2 seeds are very tiny, so I'm going to plant them in a tray. Now there aren't many of them, so I'll plant them both in the same tray. I've put a little dent down the middle, and that can be a dividing line. If you've got 2 small trays, then use 2 small trays. Don't do these outside, otherwise they'll blow away. But these are the Rudbeckia seeds. They're very small. Okay, so I've got some compost there, I've put a little bit of water on there, and all I'm going to do is just sprinkle over the top like this. Okay, the last few on and do exactly the same with the delphinium seeds. Now these aren't even round, they're very bizarre. Very, very strange shape they are. There we are. So we'll do exactly the same with those. Just sprinkle over the top. And when they come up, and when they're big enough to handle, what we'll do is we'll put them in 3-inch pots and then plant them out in clumps. Okay, but I'll show you that when I do it. There we are. And then when they're all in there, just put a little bit of compost over the top and they'll sit quite happily in the greenhouse. So we'll put the labels, then we know which ones we've put in each one. Delphinium's there and the rudbeckia there. There we are. And then that's those done. So next I'll show you the last flower, and that's teasel. Right, well this is teasel and I got this from Thompson & Morgan. Okay, this takes a long time to germinate. It takes 1 to 3 months, so don't lose heart with it. But as you can see, this gorgeous head which will attract the birds, which will look beautiful in the garden, and I might put a few down the allotment to attract the bees. But these again, they look a bit like birdseed actually. There we are, they're quite long. Okay, so I'm going to sow all of those. I've got a small tray here and I'm just going to sprinkle them on top like this. Hopefully this will make quite a few. I will plant them all. There's going to be quite a few here, but I'm sure I can find space for them. Okay, and we'll just sprinkle a little bit of compost over the top, very, very small amount over the top. And we'll give those water and we'll put the label on like that. Right, well that's all the flowers I'm going to sow in February, but there are plenty more out there. Just check the backs of the packets just to make sure. What I'm going to show you next is very exciting, and that's how the onions and the garlic are getting on.